You're welcome back, and we are starting with stories making the headlines on ABS website. New Year, FG acts to fix economy and infrastructure. Anambra government reassures on promoting effective security network. Anambra State debunks rumors of plans to shut down markets. Road construction, Obiano directs contractors to cancel Christmas break. Most stakeholders commend Obiano on security infrastructure. Yuletide, Oka South embarks on palliative work on roads. Good now, you've seen what is making the headlines, the stories making the headlines on our ABS website. I think we need to talk about the federal government acting to fix the economy.
It's great, and there's no right time to call for this. I mean, when we talk about fixing the economy and infrastructure, it's something that should be part of us. It's something that should be part of the federal government because they're the one leading the people.
I don't think they need to be told. It's something they should be doing continuously,
yes, yeah, and I think it's actually a good call, that the federal government actually look into this. We had a long 2018, and a lot of things were not really right.
Why would you say long 2018?
Of course,
it was still the same 365
yes,
days.
It was. But then again, a lot of things really happened through the year, and a lot of people were, on the other side of complaining how difficult, how things are just not working out well. And, we're talking about fixing the economy. If the economy was fixed, or if, it's been fixed, then a lot of all these issues and complainings wouldn't, have been. But whatever the case is, it's going to be beautiful 2019.
Yes, hopefully.
That everything would probably take shape 2019.
All right. Anambra government reassures on promoting effective security network.
Great. If you ask me, great, because we know how far and how well the governor himself, Governor Willie Obiano, has done, the good job he has done as regards to security in Anambra State. And it's beautiful that one can actually go back home as late as 10, 11, 12 peacefully. I remember, when I close from the office, and, I go back home and it's cool, and I go back peacefully.
Nobody harasses
come back
you
here
on the
to
road
work
and all
peacefully.
that.
So it's good. He has reassured, so it's more work. And so the criminals, the hoodlums, whoever is thinking of coming to Anambra State.
And we also need to help him to do that, for us to report if we know anyone that's involved in such nefarious activities.
We always advocate that. So that's good.
All right, let's still look at the road construction. Obiano directs contractors to cancel Christmas break. All right.
When I actually read that story, on the news, I was like, really? You want me to cancel my Christmas break? But for the good of the nation, for the good of the state, because when we talk about, now it's a dry season, it's always difficult doing this road when it's rainy, and now it's dry. So as much as possible, he is the governor who really wants the best for the state, who's been working so well to make things work for the state. So if he actually deemed it fit that the contractors should cancel their Christmas, well, I know it's not going for nothing.
I hope they will do a good job because of that.
I think it's
All right, let's move to the other paper. The first paper we have for today, the Daily Sun.
That story is making the headlines. ASU strike may mar 2019 elections. That's coming from INEC. On top of that story, we have 2019 Imo APC Des Oshomole. Great story coming there. And underneath, as Uzodimma flags off campaign. Minimum wage bill, Labour sets December 31st deadline. Ogunguba, 60 parties adopt Amosun's candidate. APM flags off campaign and braces Buhari. Luxury bus operators raise the alarm over kidnapping, robbery, attacks. Presidential poll, Afenifere endorses Buhari Osibanjo for 2019. The big story, ASU strike.
May March 2019 elections.
What's your take on it, Dimma?
Well, I think they should just do something to end the strike. It's long overdue. For the past how many months, students have been at home.
And the last meeting they had also ended in a deadlock. In fact, they almost wanted hitting themselves. But then when you look at it now, INEC is actually crying out. Reason being that when you look at the ad hoc staff who actually participate during election processes.
Exactly.
More of the students from the university, the core members and the likes. And now the university is on strike. How do you intend now? Because it's not even having any. They're not making headways as regards to the discussion. So, what's going to be the fate of 2019?
Well, I don't know about that, but I think we should call for a short break now, and we'll return. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Season's greetings in Anambra. On behalf of Caring Family Enhancement Initiative, CAFE, I wish us all a Merry Christmas and prosperous New Year. Chief Dr. Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, founder, CAFE, wife of the governor of Anambra State.
You're welcome back, and we've been joined by Barrister George Enekwachi, legal practitioner and a public affairs commentator. You're welcome to Newspaper Review this morning.
Thank you very much. Yes, you're welcome.
All right. Before you came in, we were just discussing what the headlines we have on the Daily Sun, and we have issues like ASU strike, which may mar 2019 elections. That's INEC speaking. So, what's your take on that?
Well, it is a very serious affair. It's a serious matter because ASU is part of the people organizing the elections, because many times their members are recruited to act as either as returning officers, one position or the other, and when they are in this state of anger, they may not be in a good condition to participate in the election process. And again, you know that as long as they are on strike, the students will be at home, and the students are feeling very much distressed by what is happening. And invariably, it will affect one way or the other, the conduct of the elections. And their strike may eventually devolve into serious sympathetic strike by other related bodies. Okay. And that will equally affect the whole process.
All right. Let's move over to the Daily Times. Banner headline says 2018 budget. FG releases 820 billion naira capital expenditure to MDAs. Withdraw $1 billion from excess crude accounts for security. We are working to release 1.21 trillion naira by end of December. Minister talking. You must secure 2019 elections, Buhari tells police. AFCTA hopes rises as Presidential Committee submits reports January 2019. Senate seek probe to former CDS baddies' death. Vote out politicians against new minimum wage, Labour. And up there we have citing forgery, graft, reps wants Buhari to sack Obono Obla. Seeks for prosecution, withdrawal of law degree and birth certificate. Senate confirms Owasonye as ICPC chairman. All right, let's talk about 2019 budget. Federal government released an 820 billion naira capital expenditure to ministry MDAs.
Yes, it is good that they are releasing the money, but incidentally they are releasing it at the end of the year. I wouldn't know whether when this budget will be the budget will be implemented, and if it had been released long before now, one would expect that people would have started feeling the impact of that release. But we are not seeing anything. To say that it has been released on paper is not to say that it has been actually released. And if it has been actually released, what would expect to see? What is?
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Your name and location.
What's your name?
All right, let's move on. There's this particular, when you're still talking about the 2018 budget, the 2019 budget, withdraws $1 billion from excess crude account for security. And let's assume that this money was withdrawn for security in Nigeria. What's your take? Because when you look at what is happening in Nigeria with regards to security problem, you ask yourself, where is this money going to? Are they really using this money for the main purpose?
First and foremost, excess crude account belongs to the three tiers of government, the federal, the state, and local governments. And to remove it without the consent of the states and local governments is unconstitutional in the very first place. You cannot just treat the local governments and the states as if they do not exist.
Okay.
So the federal government has no such authority to withdraw such money. For whatever purpose, whether you call it for security or any other purpose, the federal government does not have that authority to do so. Then secondly, we have seen over the years, people government talking about withdrawal for security, releasing billions for security, but the security situation is deteriorating on daily basis. On daily basis. In fact, I would say with all sense of responsibility that we've never had it so bad. We've never had it so bad. In the recent security situation, we cannot say in fact, it's becoming creating the impression that we have no government. Because you can no longer move freely, and people are being massacred, people are being killed, people are being assassinated, people are being murdered every day, and Boko Haram is dealing with our soldiers. I don't know how this morning billions and billions of naira and now billions of dollars are being spent. I don't know how they are being spent.
Let's just take, for instance, the chief of staff that was just killed.
Yes. You see, and when you read the history, the story, you see that, in fact, it is a very terrible thing. Such a high-ranking former military officer
chief of staff,
being killed in that manner. Being killed in that manner. He had even no security, and they were said that it was said that military barracks or checkpoints are close to that place, and yet these people could come there, could waylay him there, shoot him, and nobody has an inkling.
Nothing.
Nobody has an inkling of those people, how to get at those people.
I think investigation is ongoing.
Well, it has always been ongoing. It has always been ongoing. And we've never seen the result.
Let's move on to the day's paper, the Punch newspaper.
Our story is making the headlines this morning. INEC ASU strike will affect preparations for 2019 polls. Director plea to federal government, union tells commission. Federal government APC not ready for election, says PDP. We are close to reaching agreement with ASU. That's coming from the federal government. JAMB begins sales of UTME form January 10. Bars cyber cafes form registering candidates. We arrested Boko Haram chief in Lagos. That's coming from police. AGF Malame distances itself from Dasuki's detention. OPEC cuts Nigeria's oil production quota to 1.68 million BPD. Reps disagree over Bodies Arms Fund diversion trial. 17 years old goes missing on resumption day at varsity. 3 die, 4 injured in Lagos crash. Amosu's preferred governor candidate begins campaign. APM adopts Buhari. Well, let's quickly look at the story that goes, the ASU strike, of course, that says that federal government APC not ready for elections. PDP is also saying that.
Yes, APC is a counter and a counter. The APC is accusing the PDP, and the PDP is accusing APC. And the APC appears to be, one way or the other, they appear not to be very much interested in organizing this election and organizing it in a free and fair manner. That's why so many people are crying. That's why PDP is crying. And PDP itself, it appears not wanting to be very much organized. So that's why
both parties
that's why they are accusing each other. Because when the APC looks around and sees what is happening, how the other parties are kind of clamoring for signing of the electoral bill, new electoral bill, and all that. They are afraid that if they sign that, if they make the president to sign that, it will affect their own, the APC. And of course, the other parties are clamoring that the APC will call the president to sign it. And yes, that's why they are afraid that APC is not ready. And of course, there are some other grounds for them to suspect that APC is not ready. But in all, it is politics.
All right, let's quickly move on to the Nation's newspaper. Time is not really our friend, so we'll just be taking the last 2 papers at once. The Nation story is making the headlines.
841 on trial, 68 convicted in 11 states over killings. Federal government tackles Atiku amnesty. Badian's killings probe on, says Air Force. CBN okays Access Diamond Major. Afenifere endorses Buhari for 2019 poll. Nigeria is 44th on FIFA ranking. Boko Haram suspect held in Lagos State. Labor issues, 10-day ultimatum. New taxes coming, sale of jam funds on January 10. Then we have a runway shot at Gatwick Airport. All right, we take the other paper, Guardian newspaper, before we comment on that.
All right, stories making the headlines on the Guardians. Analysts unveil highs, lows of 2019 budget. Alien economy, other hassles take the shine of Christmas. Buhari opens new airport terminal amidst $69.3 million debt overhang. Nigeria's oil sector needs $30 billion to address infrastructure gap, says Kachiku. Federal government releases $820 billion to MDAs from 2018 budget. Labour gives federal government ultimatum on new wage. ASU strike may mar 2019 polls. INEC warns fierce shortage of returning collation officers. Others. Fresh study reveals how to curb electoral violence. Buhari tax placed on peaceful elections. Well, let's quickly look at Labour giving federal government ultimatum on new minimum wage.
Well, that is Labour is fighting for their members. It is normal for them to go into that kind of agitation. And of course, this is the appropriate time for them to do that because the election is coming. And if they don't get it done now, they will not get it. They may not get it done after the election. So it is appropriate for them to do that. But the next question is whether the federal government will comply with the 31st December deadline. It is good that you give that such order. The federal government may not do that because if the federal government is ready to submit their report to the National Assembly for such things, there's nothing you can do about that. But if the Labour is merely warning, and that is another warning that another strike is on the pipeline, because if the federal government fails to do that, they may have to call the workers off duty, and if that happens, Nigeria stands to lose and lose so much. And if the federal government is very genuine on the issue of minimum wage, they must have to hasten up, because if you have agreed, you must have to do this so that Nigeria will curtail its losses.
Because we cannot afford to have ASU and workers.
Another strike of 1 week
election
will cost Nigeria billions and billions of naira.
If it's going to cost us that billions and billions of dollars, what is even the minimum wage asking for?
Just 30,000.
I don't understand why we're like this.
Right,
what's the way out?
Thank you
because
so much.
We can't continue like this.
Barrister George Enekwachi, legal practitioner and public affairs commentator. Thank you so much.
Incidentally, I'm being called George Enekwachi, but my own is Enekwachi. I don't know why. I don't know whether you are from Imo.
Right, sorry.
You must always realize that this is Anambra State.
Oh, okay.
And in Anambra, we don't say Enekwa. We say Enekwe. So that it will suit our language.
All right. Thank you so much for coming for our newspaper review this morning. All right. That's it on the newspaper review. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.